It's a gorgeous Thursday night in Detroit. Ideal setting for the start of a 4-game series against the Indians here at Comerica Park. It's the final homestand of the season and a marquee pitching matchup. Casey Mize toes the slab for the Tigers. Shane Bieber, one of the best in all of baseball for Cleveland. And we've got it for you here on Fox Sports Detroit. Hi, everybody. With the Hall of Famer, Jack Morris, I'm Matt Shepard. Welcome. Runs will be at a premium tonight. I think that's fair to say, Jack, especially if Casey Mize is on his game, because we know Shane Bieber, in all likelihood, will be. These are the kind of showdowns you love.
Absolutely. You know, Casey Mize is looking at a guy like Shane Bieber, and he says, that's who I want to be. That's who I want to beat. You know, we got one guy that's got a real good chance of winning Cy Young this year, and a kid that expects himself to be in that position down the road. Mize is coming off a great start in Chicago, where he threw 5 innings of no-hit ball and then had to be iced for a while when the Tigers put on some runs. He sat for a half hour, came out, walked the first guy, gave up a hit, and he was gone. But Shane Bieber, he's done it all year long. He is coming off a loss, which is like, wow, he lost a game? That's how good he's been, and his breaking ball is the kind of stuff that you tell your kids about, because he got to 100 strikeouts quicker than anybody in baseball history this year.
Mize with his first start of his career against Cleveland. Bieber's numbers not just impressive on the season, but in his career against Detroit. He is 4-1 lifetime against the Tigers, and earlier this season, he was untouchable. Well, we know both these offenses will rely on their steady hitters. That makes Jeimer Candelario and Jose Ramirez 2 key guys, and there's a reason they hit near the top of the order. We can't wait for this one on a Thursday night. Come back and join us. Tigers and Tribe, next. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Casey Mize ready for his 6th Major League start. If it's anything like his last, we're in for a treat. You won't want to miss it. First pitch. Happened on cue. Sometimes the baseball gods reach down and give you something that just makes you smile. On one side, it's Casey Mize, the tip of the spear in the Tigers' rebuild. An arm filled with power and the hopes of an entire fan base. On the other side, Shane Bieber, the ace of the Cleveland Indians. And in just his 3rd season, the odds-on favorite to win the Cy Young. The first of potentially many meetings between these divisional rivals, and it all unfolds tonight at Comerica Park. Oh, baby. Mize and Bieber on a gorgeous night. Glad you're with us. With Johnny Kane, our good friend, and the Hall of Famer Jack Morris, and our entire Fox Sports Detroit family. I'm Matt Shepard. 66 degrees under clear skies. How about Casey Mize? How impressed have you been with his recent starts?
Well, he will be tonight's Tigers starting pitcher, Casey Mize. It's presented by MGM Grand Detroit. Making his 6th start, like Shep said, and he's coming off a better one. We always talk, Shep, about trying to make your next start better than your last one. Well, the only way he can make it better is to go deeper in the game, because for 5 innings, he threw no-hit ball against maybe the best offense in baseball right now. So he's coming off a good one. Got to feel good about tonight's game.
76 pitches in his last start, and here's the defense behind him. Brought to you by our friends at Goodman Acker. Jorge Bonifacio started in right field last night, back to left field tonight. Jeimer Candelario makes his 35th straight start at first base. And then Austin Romine behind the plate. 3rd time he plays catch with Casey Mize. Here's the Indians batting order, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Francisco Lindor, since moving to the leadoff spot, he's batting .333. Carlos Santana has more walks than any player in baseball with 41. And Franmil Reyes is big and strong. And 7 of his 8 homers this year have come on the road. They see Casey Mize for the first times in their careers. And the first pitch of the night, a bunt. Mize pouncing on it and got him at first base.
Great reactions right there. Ready for the first pitch is what so many managers preach to their team. And Casey Mize throws a strike to Lindor and jumps off the mound and does the work himself. Good reactions right there. Casey going right to the ball, takes his time, throws a nice strike down there to Jamer.
That's how you draw it up, man. One pitch, one out,
Oh.
especially to a guy like Francisco Lindor. Here's Cesar Hernandez. And the first pitch strikes is something, Jack, you're going to watch closely tonight
Absolutely.
from Mize.
Well, and that's where 2 starts ago he really had trouble, right? He was falling behind, getting deep in counts, and he said that that's all he worked on in between starts before his last start in Chicago was fastball command. Well, he was so much better. He had great movement, but the movement was in the strike zone, and he was getting strikes. Quite honestly, he was getting quick contact and getting some quick outs, and that's something that Casey's going to learn, that it really plays at any level, and that here at the big league level, maybe strikeouts aren't as cool as everybody says they are if you want to get deep in the game and maybe even win games nowadays.
On the ground to short. 2 quick outs for Casey Mize here in the first. That's Tim Timmons behind the plate. Laz Diaz is the crew chief. He's down at first base in the start of this 4-game series. And with 2 away, here's Jose Ramirez.
Well, you've got Lindor, Ramirez, Santana, the 3 guys at the first part of the lineup that you really got to contend with in this organization. They've been there and they've been doing it for a few years now, and this guy started off slow, but he's been getting better, heating up a little bit. Unfortunately, Cleveland's dropped 8 straight games, and of course they're looking for a rebound with their ace on the mound tonight.
Yeah, that's their longest losing streak since 2013. It's 2-0 to Ramirez. Fouls it back. Sandy Alomar Jr., the acting manager. Terry Francona usually sits in that spot, but he's ailing. And we wish him well. The 2-1 to Ramirez. Turns on it and sends it deep to right. Cameron's going to run out of room, and it's gone. And we told you this is one of those guys who has good swings against the Tigers. And it continues. Man. Team leading 12th homer of the year for Jose Ramirez. And it's 1-0 Cleveland.
Well, let's see the grip there. That's a split finger, and it didn't break hardly at all. Ramirez looked like he was sitting a little off speed, and he just had that swing where he's able to load and keep his hands back long enough that he greets the ball out in front, put a charge into that one.
You said he's been swinging a hot bat, and he has. Good indication there. And here's Carlos Santana. Santana sends one to center. Reyes started back. Now he comes in. And Casey Mize gets through the first with 11 pitches, but he was touched by Jose Ramirez's 12th homer of the season. It's 1-0 Cleveland. Here comes Jose Ramirez's 3rd homer in the last 6 games on this road trip for Cleveland. Has them in front. Here's the Tigers batting orders presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Willie Castro has a 6-game home hitting streak. Miguel Cabrera has 253 hits in his career against Cleveland, most of any active player in the majors, and Jorge Bonifacio has RBIs in 13 RBIs, I should say, in his last 14 games.
The Tigers are going to face one of baseball's best pitchers tonight in Shane Bieber. He's making his 11th start. You see the numbers, 7-1 with a 1.53 ERA. What makes him so good is he throws a heck of a lot of breaking balls. And he doesn't throw that many of them for strikes, but it appears to be a strike. He starts them off in the strike zone, basically right over the middle, and both his slider and his curveball break out of the zone, and he gets hitters to chase.
He was incredible on August 15th against the Tigers, in which he threw 7 innings of scoreless ball, 3 hits, 11 punch-outs, and allowed just one walk. 2-0 to Victor Reyes.
That was kind of a dead fish fastball or a changeup right there. When he's feeling it, Beaver can throw in the upper 90s with his fastball, and that's a pitch he really can locate very well. See right there, he likes to throw into left-handers with his fastball. Again, did you hear that, kids? He likes to throw in to left-handers with his fastball. And what that does is open up the outer part of the plate for his off-speed pitches and break his pitches. Going away with a fastball here.
Got a swing and a miss. It's 2-2. His 7 wins are tied for the most in baseball. Reyes checked it and held.
So he works a full count here. Start the game. You kind of want your leadoff guy to try to see as many pitches as he can. Preferably get on base, though.
He saw 6 and strikes out.
Fastball out of the zone, and Reyes just can't lay off. It's clearly 4 or 5 inches away, but when you have the reputation of always being around the plate, and that ball had good tail, it's a 4-seamer, but you can see the movement. It did run a little bit away, so he starts off the game with a strikeout.
And brings up Willie Castro. Got a break there. Castro 1 for 4 in the 4-0 loss to the Royals last night. Tigers split that mini 2-game set, winning game 1 6-0, and then losing last night. Now 1-1. For the series against the Royals, 4 for 9. That included his 4th homer of the season. A solo shot opposite field in game 1 of that series against Kansas City.
Well, Willie's really been good in his last 19 games, a .386 average, 5 extra base hits. But he's got to prove himself against the best. I think you always want to judge yourself against what can I do against the elite, the best in the game. And I think when you finally start having a little bit of success against the best, whether you're a pitcher facing a great hitter or a hitter facing a great pitcher, that's when you start feeling good about yourself. That's when you say, you know what, I can be among the best when I can handle guys like Bieber.
His .347 average leads American League rookies. The 2-2 from Bieber. Swung on and missed.
It's the same pitch in almost the exact same location that he struck out Victor Reyes. He starts the ball and it appears to be on the corner, right? And then it breaks about 2 inches, 3 inches outside off the plate.
Here's the Indians starting defense, brought to you by Marygrove Awnings. Tyler Naquin has a franchise record 272 games errorless streak on the line here tonight. Cesar Hernandez has 175 chances at second base, most in the majors. Here's Miguel Cabrera. Inside 1-0 to Cabrera. Cabrera 2 for 6 in the series against the Royals. That included a homer and a double. That was in game 1 where he reached base 5 times. The 2-0 was fouled. Jack had mentioned earlier that Bieber is coming off a loss, his first loss. Jack's reaction was, wow. I think everybody's reaction was. keep this in mind. He did go 7 innings against the Twins in the loss and gave up just 3 runs. Minnesota touched him for a couple of homers. That was his undoing.
And that's a rarity.
Yeah. Low and away. Yeah, he's only allowed 6 all season long.
It's funny how pitchers will change their whole repertoire sometimes to Miguel Cabrera based on reputation more than anything else. No, he's gotten back to 3-2 in the count. Candy waiting to hopefully have his turn here in this half inning.
Brady Singer of the Royals struck out the side to open the night last night. Cabrera sends it high in the air to center. Oscar Mercado is there. And a 1-2-3 inning to start the. Reyes leads off the Cleveland second. Time for StatCast powered by Google Cloud. You know, he's got 8 homers on the year, 4 of them against Detroit, including this one here in this ballpark that traveled 453 feet. Oh, my goodness, did he hit that hard and far. First pitch from Mize to him is in for strike 1.
One of the neat things, excuse me, I didn't mention about Casey Mize, he's facing Cleveland for the first time. This is his first appearance against Cleveland. And every time a good young pitcher faces a team for the first time, you know, both sides are trying to judge each other up. Mize doesn't really know what his stuff's going to do against a guy like Reyes. You know, he's obviously aware of what Franmil has done against Detroit this year. But you always say to yourself as a pitcher, well, that was the other guy. You know, he hasn't seen my stuff yet.
Yeah. The 1-2 to Reyes.
Ouch.
Broken back grounder to first.
Measure that one.
Candelario takes it himself.
Greatest sound in baseball right there.
Well, this is a Cleveland team, as Jack mentioned, that has lost 8 in a row. Menards brings you the big money encounter, including a couple of walk-offs for the Cubs over the last couple of nights.
Cam Maben there, taking one for the team.
And then Javi Baez. How he pulled that ball, I'll have no idea.
He's trying to. I used to ask Dave Bergman that. How'd you hit that? That's what I was looking for.
I was way outside, and he somehow pulled that to left.
That was incredible.
And the Cubs won it. And the thing about that is that this is a Cleveland team that's really good in close games and pretty good when not scoring many runs. Matter of fact, they're 21-6 when scoring 3 runs or more. They've lost 3 in a row in that regard. Tyler Naquin is ahead in the count 2-0. Naquin in right field tonight for Cleveland.
Well, recording that first out against the first hitter again, Casey Mize doing his job. His pitch count in real good shape. Being efficient here early. The one pitch, the one mistake to Jose Ramirez was a split finger that just sort of stayed about thigh high. He started at belt high, and it didn't really have that downward bite that he was looking for. But his fastball has been very, very good. He's changed eye levels. He's changed both sides of the plate. He's got the ball to run a little bit, sink a little bit.
Just moved Tyler Naquin's feet. You like that?
Yeah.
But you don't want to walk him. Here's the 3-1. Huge foul.
I just saw a different set of signs there from Austin Romine. That was a fastball, and he gave 2 fingers like the hook'em horns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes pitchers, Mize probably as sharp as there is, you know, he'll go to his catcher and say, hey, let's change the signs a little, just in case.
That worked.
Look at that pitch.
Strikes out Naquin.
Perfect location. Climbed the ladder up and in. Naquin didn't even have a chance on that one. Look at how this one eats him up. He beat him. First strikeout for Casey.
Romine was behind the dish when Mize made his last start in Chicago.
Yeah, and Gardy thought it would be important to have these two work with each other again. And that's one of the reasons that Romine did not catch last night.
Eric Haas got the start in that series wrap-up against the Royals last night for the Tigers. This is Roberto Perez, and an easy play for Mize right back to him. Good first couple innings for King.
Shane Bieber and the Cleveland Indians with a 1-0 lead as we head into the bottom of the second inning. And well, heck, when you're a good-looking guy with the last name Bieber, you're bound to draw some attention, whether we're talking Shane or Justin. And Shane Bieber was actually asked earlier this season if he missed being at road stadiums or road ballparks, as it were, and not getting some of the heckling from the opposing fans. He said, wait a second. He said, I still get some of the heckling. You can hear it from the opposing dugout. You hear guys chirping, whether it's at him or at the umpires or even at their own guys. But he said almost in a lot of ways, guys, that it's heightened because you don't have the distraction or the crowd noise from the actual crowd. So there you go.
You know, the way you started that report, good-looking guy, I just thought you were going right into yourself there for a minute.
Good-looking guys like us.
I knew he wasn't talking about us. How you been? We've missed you.
Man. I know, man. I've been missing you guys. But we're back.
Pick us a win here, would you,
All
Johnny?
weekend long. Yeah, be a lucky charm.
I'm feeling like it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we got the right crew in place. We got the right team assembled to get it done tonight.
All right.
Oh, if we could only pitch, hit, field, and run. Here's Jamer Candelario to lead off the Tigers second.
I'll know you're hot, Johnny, when your pick the stick guy gets 3 knocks tonight.
Yeah, we'll wait till it. Isaac Paredes, we're waiting patiently.
2-1 now to Candelario, who was the pick as the American League Player of the Week last week. And for good reason. Hit .423 over that span. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed.
Right there is a great example of 2 breaking balls where Bieber changes eye levels. The first one starts up out of the zone, comes back down into the zone on the outside corner. The next one starts middle of the plate and breaks down and in out of the strike zone.
Skies this one to left center. Mercado takes care of it. Hey fans, if Detroit hits 3 home runs in this game, visit a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. That's a heavy ask against Shane Bieber. Here's Nico Goodrum. Jack always talks about the first batter of the inning. You want to get that first batter. Nobody does it better than Shane Bieber against first hitters in the innings. We'll give you that little nugget of information in a moment as Goodrum looks at strike 1. The league average for first batters retired is 69%. Bieber does it at 78% coming into the game tonight. That's impressive stuff. And it's 0-2 to Goodrum.
There's so many things about Shane Bieber this year that are so impressive. We talked about first guy to get to 100 strikeouts this year in the shortest amount of innings in baseball history. You know, and he rattled off 7 straight wins, or 7 wins out of his first 9 starts.
Leads all of baseball in ERA and strikeouts as well. He's 3rd in WHIP. That's walks and hits per innings pitched. You'd have to call him the front runner for the American League Cy Young. Ahead in the count, 0-2 to Nico Goodrum. And another strikeout for Shane Bieber, his 3rd of the night already.
Again, what makes this pitch so darn effective is it starts out right in the middle of the plate, right? This is about the level that Nico sees it, and then it just drops. See the spin? Look at the spin he gets straight, the 12-6 spin, and then Roberto Perez catching it down almost to the dirt. So that's tremendous amount of tilt.
I just love that shot. When you can see the grip on the ball, helps us understand what you're talking about so much. Bonifacio looping one to right, and that ball will drop.
That's
it's a base
knock.
hit for Jorge Bonifacio. And the first base runner of the night for Detroit.
You know, that expression right there by Bieber, that says everything. It's like, how dare you get a hit off me? I know that feeling. There's been times when I was young, and you're feeling it, right? And you're looking at a guy that just got on base that has no business. And I'm not saying Jorge didn't, because, you know, he took a good swing, hit it off the end of the bat. But you look at him like, how can you possibly be standing on first base off me? Now, is that's what he's feeling, though. I'm telling you right now, that's what he's feeling.
The ultimate confidence.
Absolutely.
Right? The ultimate belief in oneself. Here's Austin Romine. And you want your pitchers feeling that way.
Absolutely you do. Well, you know, I mean, Bieber didn't show anybody up, but
no.
It's that look that I know. You know, and I've seen it on almost every great pitcher. It's like early in the game, things are rolling pretty good, and then a little wounded quail, you know, falls in there on the grass over a second baseman or over a shortstop's head. And you go, really?
We won't know it's a wounded quail a year from now.
No.
It just goes down as a base hit.
Well, it's first base runner for Detroit, and let's see if we can add to that.
Romine 1 for 2 in his career against Bieber. Fouls that one away.
You have to lay off that one, man. And now, remember a few games ago I was telling our listeners to watch the catcher's glove and just to see the command, right? Bieber has already got such a great reputation that he's not going to throw that many strikes in the zone, but he's going to get a lot of swings and misses because guys know they can't fall behind. He's got put-away pitches.
Just like that. Romine stared at strike 3. Tigers strike. There is no better time to confirm your membership in the Detroit Tigers 1901 Society. Enjoy great seats, unprecedented access, invitation. You might sit next to this guy. You got invitations to exclusive events and more. Join our can't wait list today at tigers.com/1901. That was Jack's reaction after winning Pick the Stick.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
When was that? 1903. The 1901 Jack Morris. Last time he won.
First look at Josh Naylor. He came over in the trade with the San Diego Padres. Those are his complete games this season, not with Cleveland, but with San Diego and the Tribe. That was a big deadline deal. Cleveland getting Naylor, who's in the starting lineup tonight, and Austin Hedges, really good catcher. Squares to bunt, and Mize decides to move his feet at 2-1. San Diego received Mike Clevenger and Greg Allen, and the, of course, player to be named later. San Diego is flying high.
I'm always wondering how they determine that elusive player to be named later. You know, obviously they agree upon it at some point. Like, yeah, we'll take your guy. You know what it usually is?
Maybe from a list?
You know what it usually is? This is my take.
What?
It's usually a player that the team giving up the player has no more interest in and is thinking about releasing him. So that guy, that other team takes him and then releases him. It happens so often.
I thought they might have some type of short list of which player they've decided.
Maybe they do.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. That's why I bring it up.
Give me a list of, I don't know, 5 to 7 names or so. And I'll choose from that list. Give me a little more time to assess. Here's the 2-2. Popped up. Romine gives chase, but won't have any room. We were talking about San Diego, Naylor's former team, second in the NL West, despite being 32-19 because of the Dodgers, who've already clinched, and we told you that last night. The only team, along with actually the White Sox, who have now clinched a playoff berth. Naylor on the ground sharply to second. Nice play by Nico Goodrum. Soft hands to retire the leadoff man here in the third.
I love that Nico stayed in on it. Let's take a look at what Casey's done well tonight. We talk about his fastball command, right? And the fact that the ball really tails, well, he just ate up Franmil Reyes. He struck out Tyler Naquin. And then Roberto Perez got jammed in a nice little one-hopper back to Casey. So that effective movement with his fastball has been good for him tonight. And he gets a little help from his friends like Nico on the last play.
He's thrown 20 fastballs tonight, Jack. 14 of them for strikes. So you think that's a very good omen?
It's a great sign that he's starting to gain trust in that. Now, what happened is that in the game against Chicago, I remember the second time he faced him. No, it wasn't Chicago, I'm sorry. But it was one of the teams where he had kind of a clunker. He started out the game where he didn't have good command of his split finger. And then he started throwing fastballs, right? Because that's what he throws when he's behind in the count. The fastballs were kind of center cut. He got hit pretty hard. All of a sudden, where did my confidence go with that pitch?
Yeah.
Tonight, in his last start, got back feeling confident about throwing that fastball.
Yeah, he looked fantastic in his last start, not just with the results, but just the confidence, as you mentioned. The number 9 hitter, Oscar Mercado, 1-2. Mercado was 4 for 42 at one point, and then he was optioned down to Cleveland's alternate site. 11 games back since, but the numbers not real high, as you can see there, at 152. Low and away, and this from a kid, and it again goes back to what you've constantly said, Jack, about the difficulties of this game and how tough it is to stay consistent. This is a guy, if people recall, in the American League Rookie of the Year race a year ago, finished 8th.
Shows how tough this league is. Again, Casey throwing 2 pitches off the plate away, and they're, in my opinion, they're wasted pitches because they were so far off that it's not going to even tempt the hitter.
Right.
You've got to get close enough, and that's what Bieber does so well.
This one ripped to left.
Staying here.
Bonifacio reaches up and pulls it in. That was hit hard, but it's a long out. And a little conversation with the bullpen, folks. Why not? While you're here, by the way.
What are friends for? There's nobody else to talk to. They're yelling, hey, you got it. You got plenty of room, plenty of room. A little high five through the fence.
Love it. With 2 away, back to the top of the Cleveland order for Francisco Lindor.
Tries to bunt again. Nobody there. He's trying to take a freebie, right? You got Paredes playing way over by shortstop on the grass. There's a ton of room if he can just lay down. And Lindor is a really good bunter. So he's going to take advantage of that if he can.
He did that on the first pitch of the night, and Mize threw him out. 1-1 to him.
Where do you throw a guy that's going to bunt, and you know he's trying to bunt it down third baseline? You pound him in. Breaking balls and fastballs in. It's harder to bunt a ball in than away. And that's what Casey Mize and Austin Romine are trying to do here against Francisco Lindor.
One fouled away. Lindor was closer to number 3, number 4 at times in the Cleveland order, but since they moved him to the leadoff spot, you see the numbers and how it's paid off for him. It hasn't paid off for Cleveland in wins yet.
Yeah, that's always a tough decision by a manager with a club that's struggling. Where do you put your best hitter?
Shane Bieber is their best pitcher. We know that. Is he the best player in the American League? Could you envision him not just winning the Cy Young, but maybe the MVP? We'll delve into that when we come back. It's time for your T-Mobile ticket to the game. How do you feel about pitchers being named the MVP? Jose Abreu would be your front runner right now. And then Nelson Cruz has got to be in the conversation. Luke Voigt has to be in the conversation. I think his teammate DJ LeMahieu needs to be in that conversation as well. How do you feel about that?
I don't have an issue. If a guy has that much of an outstanding year, and for instance, I'm just going to use Steve Carlton 1 year, won 28 games, and his team won 45 games. So more than half of the time he pitched, he won when the team was terrible. Okay? To me, that's a guy that's so far ahead of everybody else. It's an MVP. Now, I don't think he won that year. In fact, I know he didn't. Won the Cy Young.
Paredes flies one to left. Mercado drifting over from center. He's going to give way to the left fielder, Josh Naylor. There's one away. Pitchers have won it before. I mean, this is not something new. It's just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Clayton Kershaw did it as recently as 2014. 4 Tigers pitchers have done it, including Hal Newhouser, who won it in back-to-back years. Remember this, though. When Hal Newhouser pitched, there was no Cy Young Award.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, Shep. I have an easier time swallowing a relief pitcher winning the MVP than I do the Cy Young. Cy Young would just roll over in his grave if he saw a relief pitcher get the award where he pitched like 500 innings every year. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is, you know, and I'm not taking anything away from my former teammate. Willie deserved it. I mean, he was really, really good, won the MVP and the Cy Young as a reliever. But Bieber's been great, and I think he deserves to be in on the conversation this year. No question.
Daz Cameron looks at 1-1. I guess for some people, they would say when an everyday player is out there playing 155 to 162 games compared to, let's say, 30 starts for a pitcher, although when you were talking about Steve Carlton, he was making closer to 40 starts. And again, he didn't win it, but you just can't help but wonder if there's some legitimacy to the pitchers taking care of their own awards while the MVP is for the position players because of their everyday.
And I've always said there used to be a thing called the Rolaids Relief Award, and that was given to the best reliever in the game, and that went away because sponsorship went away, I guess. But I think they should name it like the Raleigh Fingers or the maybe Mariano Rivera now that he was, unanimous, first guy unanimous to make the Hall of Fame as a reliever. And give that exclusively to the relievers. Cy Young is for starters. And the MVP, maybe it is for position players. I don't know. We live in an imperfect world, though, and that's why we always have these debates.
Yeah, it's a good conversation to have. I wanted to get your thoughts as a Hall of Famer and a guy who has been in that position where you're watching guys win MVPs as pitchers in foul territory. Roberto Perez takes care of it right in front of the Tigers dugout.
Takes charge right there. Yeah, I mean, and, I'm willing to listen. That's when you're talking about those elite awards, I think it's necessary to have great conversations, and who is it that's voting on it, and do they get together and discuss it? And I know they do. Writers certainly do. Maybe a player should vote on an outstanding player because they have maybe a different perspective than the writers do.
Yeah. The thing I always worry about that is a lot of guys have a tendency to vote for their buddies if they're not in it. But, yeah, I think it's worth that conversation. You were talking about Carlton. There's a year he won 27 games.
27,
led the league in ERA and starts and a whole bunch of others, but he finished 5th. Johnny Bench won it in front of him. Close play at first, but they get Victor Reyes another 1. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire, home of the lowest tire price period and a contact-free experience. And by GMC, visit your local Metro Detroit Buick GMC dealer today for exceptional offers all month long. There are certain moments in your life you'll never live down. For Jack, it's dancing on a bar. For Todd Reardon, a member of our Fox Sports Detroit family, it's that foul ball in which he could have caught.
You don't want us to have that on camera, Todd, because they put these extended screens around to save fans that can't protect themselves like you.
Well, not just that. What's the excuse? How do you not pay attention to what's going on?
Apparently he didn't see it.
Yeah, apparently. But it's not like anybody was in front of him. A base knock for Cesar Hernandez to start the Cleveland 4th.
Well, now Casey's going to have to work out of the stretch here. He hasn't had that issue yet. Here's one more look at our buddy. What's he look? He's got his hand up blocking the moon or something, the lights.
The moon.
I don't know. He was doing a good job.
Then he wants to blame Jim Zenik for it. Why didn't you tell me? Jim, the cameraman, right there shooting him. Come on. First time Cleveland has had the leadoff man on here in the fourth, though. It's Cesar Hernandez. So Jose Ramirez, who did the damage in the first, a 2-out solo homer to right. His team leading 12th of the season. That's the lone run on the board so far.
Well, through the first 3 innings, both Bieber and Mize faced 1 over the minimum. And for Casey, that was this guy with the home run. Now he starts the top of the 4th with a leadoff base hit, pitching out of the stretch for the first time in the game. They got a big shift on Ramirez, the whole left side wide open for him.
High in the zone, 1-1. Low, 2-1 to Jose Ramirez. What do you think about that repertoire?
I think it's a pretty good combination. You usually want to throw about 50% fastballs, you know, depending on how many, whether you have a secondary and a third pitch and how much command you have of those pitches and how much confidence. But guys that can throw over 50% fastballs usually have a, number one, have a good fastball because they trust it and they believe in it. It's a case again where why is it you always find yourself behind in counts to the best hitter on the team? You're so careful, you don't want to make mistakes, and you tend, because of your lack of aggression against these guys, you tend to fall behind.
Swing and a miss and a heavy cut to make it 3-2.
Boy, if you could double up with that one, maybe even a little bit further outside. You know, this was going for the downswing, and because of it, he drops his backside a little bit underneath the swing. Not so sure that Casey beat him by that much. He did beat him by enough, though, and that's the whole key. Will he take another big swing at the same pitch?
Rips one to right, foul. And now a message from DTE Energy.
Lower carbon footprint, more Michigan renewables. Enroll in My Green Power today. DTE.
A leadoff single from Cesar Hernandez. It's 3-2 now to Jose Ramirez against Casey Mize. You see the 49 pitches so far for Mize. 29 have been strikes. He's got one strikeout, hasn't walked a batter yet.
You know, it's important that he doesn't do it here either. He doesn't want to start the inning with 2 guys on.
Instead, it's pounded to deep right, and that ball is gone. This time, a 2-run blast from Ramirez off a 3-2 pitch, 3-0 Indians.
Well, sometimes one pitch will kind of take away your confidence in it, just one pitch, and then you'll want to go to something that's actually a better pitch for the hitter. In this case, Casey Mize throws the fastball in, the 4-seamer in, and Ramirez pulls it foul 2 pitches ago. Then he throws the 2-seamer, and it just doesn't break down like he was hoping for. Stays up over the middle of the plate, and Ramirez gets number 2 in the game.
Ramirez is on it tonight. One to Carlos Santana. Low and inside.
You know, one thing that Casey hasn't done so far to Ramirez, but he hasn't really shown much of it at all in this game, is changing speeds. Things have been pretty hard, very firm. His fastball has been, there's Casey's reaction. He kind of knew it right away. Lousy feeling. I know it quite well.
Brush back Santana, now 3-2. Now the payoff. And Santana draws his major league leading 42nd walk of the year.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch for Casey Mize tonight. He's touched 86 miles an hour, and 96 miles an hour. The low there is 79. That's got to be a changeup. I don't think he throws anything that slow.
Got Franmil Reyes on a broken bat roller to first. His first time up. That would work here too.
Top of the zone, but again, the way Romine caught that, he pulled the glove out of the zone instead of having the glove at the top and then pulling it back in towards him. Might have taken away a pitch there.
Inside. We had mentioned earlier in the broadcast that Josh Naylor came over with Austin Hedges from San Diego in that deadline deal. Remember, Franmil Reyes came from San Diego as well last year in July in a 3-team deal with the Reds that included Trevor Bauer and Yasiel Puig as part of those players moving cities. 3-0 to Reyes.
Casey's got to regroup right here. Falling behind 2 hitters now.
Grooves one to make it 3-1.
Infield at double play depth. They're hoping for that ground ball. See how they've got him played right there up the middle.
It's a 2-1. A line drive at Goodrum. Won't have a chance to double up Santana. Good base running by Carlos Santana, but there's one away.
Another broken bat.
And now a message from your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
Check out the 2020 Ford F-150 now at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
With 2 runs home and a man out and a man on, here's Tyler Naquin. Naquin in his 5th year. His rookie season of 2016, he was 3rd in the Rookie of the Year race. Michael Fulmer won it that year. Gary Sanchez was 2nd on the 0-1 on a bullet to right. 4th hit of the night for Cleveland. Runners at 1st and 2nd with 1 away. Rick Anderson needs to talk with Casey Mize. It's been a long inning for him. 22 pitches so far in this inning alone for Casey Mize.
Let's take a look at the last pitch for Casey. You can see it's a splitter here, right? And what's happening tonight with that splitter is he's starting it up too high in the zone. That pitch is designed to start about knee high or just above the knee high and break maybe down to the shin or all the way to the ankle. sometimes when it's really breaking a lot down into the dirt. It's kind of like Bieber's curveball. You want to start at middle of the plate and break out of the zone. And that's what you want to do with a splitter, too. You want to start it low in the strike zone. They see fastball arm action, and they think it's going to be a low fastball. They start their swing and commit, and then the ball just vanishes, and they're out in front, and the ball's out of the zone. And Casey's left a couple of them up here for base hits.
Facing Roberto Perez, who bounced back to Mize in the second.
Double play ball still in order here. Guy that doesn't run all that well at the plate.
Some injury-plagued problems for Perez, but overall, it's been disappointing for him. Batting just 157 with 1 homer. A year ago, he set a career high with 24 bombs. Here's the 2-0. The other way, but foul.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that can really fool a guy. Roberto Perez is catching every day for that pitching staff and for his defense. You don't run on him. He's got a quick pop time. He's got an accurate throwing arm. And he just buries baseballs in the dirt. He hasn't had a pass ball in, a year and a half or something. Crazy number.
149 games.
There you go. I knew you had it. We read it somewhere here tonight.
I'll tell you, he is, you're right. I mean, he's worth his weight in that regard defensively, because you could argue he's the best defensive catcher. At least last year he was. Won a Gold Glove. Set a franchise record in fielding percentage. Only made 3 errors in over 1,100 chances.
Well, we were talking last series about Sal Perez and what a phenomenal catcher is. Well, what makes Sal Perez so good, as Casey walks another guy, is his offense, right? I mean, he is a threat every time offensively. I think Perez probably has a stronger throwing arm, more accurate, and they're both great at calling a game and really helping the pitcher navigate. Perez is great at blocking balls, so maybe not quite the offense from Sal,
right? But
every bit as good defensively.
Big moment for Casey Mize here in the fourth. Cleveland already has 2 runs in. They've got the bases loaded with 1 down. Here's Josh Naylor.
Yeah, this is getting critical here for Casey. A lot of pitches thrown this half inning, and he still only has 1 out. He's got to figure out something here. Strikeout, infield fly ball, or that great one hopper right at.
There's the infield pop-up you wanted. Yep.
That'll keep the runner at third.
That's huge. And now Oscar Mercado comes in. If you happen to hear some salty language, our apologies. If you're offended by that, with 2 away, Mercado, who flew out to left his first time up, becomes the 8th hitter of the inning as Nick Ramirez warms.
Mercado hit a ball right on the screws his first time up to left field. Casey is kind of pitching a little more defensively in this half inning. A couple hits sort of changed his approach. Sliders just haven't been on the plate at all. He starts them on the outside corner and they break off the plate. For whatever reason, Cleveland's picking it up and they're not attempting to swing at it.
Long inning for him and his defenders. 3 hits and 2 walks in the inning for Cleveland. The 2-0 to Mercado. On the ground to third.
Step on the back.
Oh, and
Catch it
Paredes
first.
can't handle it. That'll extend the inning for the Indians. Give them another run. 4-0 Tribe.
Another mistake. It's going to be an E5. It should be anyway.
It is.
He's got to catch that ball first because he was going to beat Naquin to third base there. It's frustrating. So that one walk to Santana comes around.
Now to the top of the order. And Francisco Lindor. Way outside.
These are tough situations because you have the third out in your bag, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, bases are loaded for one of the premier hitters in their lineup. Just these extra pitches are stressful on the pitcher. It's what takes them out of games earlier.
That's 35 pitches in the inning now, Jack. For Casey
Yeah,
Mize.
just a real tough inning for Casey.
Grounded out to first his last time up. Started the night on the first pitch trying to get on base with a bunt, but Mize able to pounce on it quickly and throw him out. Cleveland scoring a run in the first, a solo homer from Jose Ramirez. Ramirez then hit a 2-run shot here in the fourth.
You know, another thing I've noticed this half inning is he just hasn't had that big movement on his fastball, especially to lefties away. There's one that ran a lot, but he couldn't keep it in the zone. 94 is kind of where he's topped out tonight. 95, I think he threw one, or maybe even one higher than that. But he's right around high 93s with his fastball. Just not quite the good movement. A little straighter.
Pulls Lindor back, now 3-2.
That one was called because it was moving off the plate. A third of the plate, right, is where he started that. It's kind of like Bieber. We saw a bunch of his. And true to form, Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire, is giving that pitch to both pitchers tonight. Tailing fastball away.
Here's the payoff. Where was that? And walks home a run. And that's it for Casey Mize. Ron Gardenhire has made the call to Nick Ramirez. Cleveland has batted around, scored 4 times here in the fourth. They lead at 5-0. Tigers need to go to their bullpen to get out of the bases loaded jam here. Film Room. Create custom reels and search 3.5 million videos. You can watch, create, share only at tigers.com/film room. Wallside Windows pitching change. Nick Ramirez is on. He's made a pair of multi-inning relief appearances since being selected from the alternate site last Thursday.
Well, he's a change-up kind of guy and gets hitters to try to be out in front. He'll turn Cesar Hernandez around to the right side here, being a switch hitter. Got to hit his last time to start this tough inning.
Yeah, he started this fourth with a single. Rode home on Jose Ramirez's 2-run homer. Since then, Cleveland has scored a couple more. Way out in front on the changeup, 0-2.
That's his bread and butter right there. Nick threw a great changeup there. Just great late movement. Ball just sort of drops and fades away. 79-mile-an-hour changeup there.
3 pitches gets it done for Ramirez to get out of the 4th.
This game break is brought to you by Xfinity. Join our clubhouse for exclusive content and direct access to Fox Sports Detroit and our other broadcasters by sending a text to 313-710-5177. Tonight, you can text me during the game. You have any questions about the game itself? Fire it my way. You have any questions about the team? Fire it my way. You have any questions about Matt Shepard? Fire it my way. You have any questions about me? Save it. We're not doing that here. That's not what this show's about. But anyway, for all your latest information, clubhouse news from Fox Sports Detroit and all your favorite teams, just text 313-710-5177. I'll be answering all those texts in the 5th inning.
That concerns me because you know me too well. Our secrets are supposed to be just
Can
that.
Shep text you?
I'm going to text him, please.
What's this
Remember
first
what I told
text
you?
I've gotten from Jack Morris?
You're looking good, Johnny. I'll say it out loud.
Johnny didn't answer my text too long ago when I invited him to golf. It took too long for him to text me back. He will text you back much quicker because you're part of the clubhouse team. I promise you that.
Johnny was working.
I was
He
working,
was
man.
doing some labor. I love it. Helping out his folks.
He's doing that. Plus, he's got the podcast. Johnny, you got the podcast, right?
We got the podcast. I'm working overtime.
Tigers trying to answer. Willie Castro, Miguel Cabrera, and Jamer Candelario against
Yeah,
Shane Bieber here in the 4th.
Uphill battle now. Playing catch up again. All too familiar song. But you've got to keep grinding. Start with one and work from there.
Well, you and I were talking about the length of a pitcher sitting after a long inning for his offense.
Here we go.
How does
Now we
Bieber
got
handle that?
we got an old pro out there, even though he's only been around a few years. You know, will he come out and keep dominating? He's done that so far.
Behind Castro 3-1 though. Struck out swinging in the 1st. Tigers only have the 1 hit. It was Jorge Bonifacio. And a leadoff walk for Willie Castro.
Here we go, Shep. Here we go. First walk of the game. Let's take a look at our bell tire pitch by pitch. So far for Shane Bieber, we'll take away that walk. Let's look at what he's been featuring. He started out the game with 2 strikeouts to Reyes and then to Castro. Both pitches, fastballs that ran away. He was able to get one in up on Miggy, a fastball up to Jamer. Then he dots one to Romine. So fastball command been great. And he's known as a breaking ball pitcher. So that's still coming here as this game progresses. He's got 4 strikeouts now with his first walk and the leadoff man on.
Tigers only had 3 base runners against the Royals last night. Here's Cabrera. Flew out to center and forced to jump out of the way of that one.
Here's what Shane has featured tonight in his pitch arsenal. Mostly fastballs, but the curveball and the cutter. Changeup, he's thrown them all, slider.
Inside 2-0 to Miguel Cabrera.
He's a guy that is not afraid to try to move you off the plate and open up that outer part. He'll throw fastballs into righties and lefties. It's a little easier probably for a guy to throw it arm side because the ball's going to tail that way. We're talking about a right-hander on the inside corner to a right-hander hitter. One thing about Bieber, he's got another phenomenal percentage. 6% of the guys that get on base come around to score. It's just,
That's crazy.
it's crazy how he can shut it down. He gives you hope, and then he just pulls the rug out.
Yeah, what's that tell you about a guy?
Well, he knows how to bear down. He knows how to really take advantage of his defense, but he can get the big out when he needs it. That's probably one of the most crucial ways to judge a quality pitcher. Is what does he do with adversity?
4th round pick in 2016. Here's the 3-1. Now it's full to Cabrera.
know what that pitch was. It was 89 miles an hour. Something off speed.
Foul back. Jack had mentioned Bieber, the fastest pitcher in MLB history to reach 100 strikeouts in a season. He did it in 62 1/3 innings. Has 4 here tonight. And leads all of baseball in that same category. Another 3-2. Tried to hold up, but couldn't. That's strikeout number 5.
And that's another thing that he does so well, is he doesn't throw strikes with his breaking ball when he's ahead in counts or 3-2 counts. And yet, it's amazing how many swings and misses he gets. And it's all because it appears out of his hand that it's going to be a strike, and then the bottom drops out, and it's out of the zone, and you can't lay off. Really good spin, good depth. What a difference that would have been had Miggy been able to lay off it. 2 guys on with 2 walks. Changes the whole outlook of this inning so far.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Changes the whole complexion. Candelario up there with 2 men on, nobody down. Instead, double play gets Bieber out of the inning. You saw the numbers for Candelario at 331. He started the night 333, 8th best in Major League Baseball, 3rd best in the American League.
Yeah, he needs to climb a few more points to pass Victor Martinez, and he could hold the best average for a switch hitter.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Speaking of switch hitting, here's Chevrolet's strongest player, no switch hitter, better this season than Jeimer Candelario, and we're looking at 3 of the top 5 in the majors.
Yeah, nobody else even over 300, so Jeimer way out in front in that category.
It's 0-2 to Candelario. Stayed alive. Bieber's got really good numbers against, well, just about everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Candelario 2 for 13 in his career against Bieber. And that's what makes it a really difficult matchup for Detroit right there. Those numbers you see. That chase rate. Tough to be patient with him. And disciplined. The 0-2. Good take. You see Candelario constantly reminding himself, stay inside the ball, using his hands. Craig Monroe's talked about this before on Tigers Live. Just reminding himself with various movements.
Yeah, I mean, that's to prevent you from getting that long, loopy swing. You know, when you're short to the ball and your hands are in close to your body, you're going to throw the barrel right at the baseball.
Wave and a miss.
Again, it's so hard. I mean, I remember the good days when my split finger was that way and hitters couldn't lay off, and I was just so giddy. And I know Bieber's got to feel that way because he knows he doesn't have to throw a strike. Again, look at the spin. He's pulling that middle finger and just really pulling it and wrapping around the ball, and that's getting that tremendous spin, which creates that great depth to his curveball.
Well, it shows you just how deceiving he can be. That ball did not reach home plate when it bounced. And yet Bieber registers his 6th strikeout of the night. Here's Nico Goodrum.
Yeah, and he trusts his catcher. We talked about Perez being able to block those guys on first base. He doesn't even advance. So that's a lot of trust in your catcher to throw that down in the dirt. He does it intentionally. I mean, when you're that dialed in on your command, you're going to throw the ball down in the bottom of the zone, maybe even trying to bounce it off the plate, because you know the hitter's committed. Fun place to be for a pitcher.
Yeah, you and I have talked before during broadcasts about the zone. You know, we hear basketball players talk about it. Goalies say the same thing. Quarterbacks, where they just see things and things slow down. It's got to be the same for pitchers when they're feeling like this.
Absolutely. Knowing you can throw the ball where you want is, to me, that's truly pitching. When you can throw the ball where you want to, and it doesn't always have to be in that box there that we see. You know, when you're ahead in counts, you can expand. And that's when it becomes fun, when you have the ability, the confidence, and the command to throw the ball out of that zone, knowing the hitter's swinging.
Well, since I've worked with you, I find myself watching the catcher's glove more and more now to see just how close the pitcher is with that pitch toward the glove. And that's good enough for Shane Bieber as he strikes out.
Well, Casey Mize is going to go back and have to think about that. He couldn't get through that particular guy right there. Jose Ramirez had 2 home runs, both on split fingers. The second one, a 2-run home run. And then Casey got rattled a little bit. His command left him. He walked Santana, Perez, and Lindor, his final hitter. Gardy had no choice but to get him. He didn't get some help defensively, 1 unearned run. But Casey just didn't seem to have that great command, and he needed it against a guy like Shane Bieber. It's got to be one of those games where you got to match him pitch by pitch in order to have a chance.
Ramirez, the 2 homers tonight, his 15th career multi-homer game.
Hello, darling. You don't see that too often from that Ramirez. You see it a lot from the other Ramirez.
Two and two now. It's been quite the birthday celebration for Jose Ramirez. The solo bomb in the first, the 2-run shot in the fourth.
Is he a birthday boy?
He is a birthday boy.
Well, we can say it. Happy birthday. 28, I was told. Shep, you remember 28 a couple years ago?
A couple years back, yeah. You ready to relive that all over again? You're 28?
I don't remember it.
Rifled foul.
Get the ripe old age of 114 like me, you know, you kind of forget. They all sort of roll together.
When Johnny Kane reaches 28, we'll celebrate that and we'll talk about it.
Tempted him, couldn't get him to bite. So Jose Ramirez working the count full.
Another one chopped foul. Nick Ramirez came on to close out the fourth with the bases loaded. He needed 3 pitches to get rid of Cesar Hernandez. Cleveland had done a lot of damage, scoring 4 times in that inning. And he strikes out Jose Ramirez to start the 5th.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Nick. There's another changeup, but this one he spotted away. See that grip? Keeps it off the plate away. That's kind of where you want a changeup, folks.
Carlos Santana walked and scored back in the 4th. We had mentioned at the time that it was his major league high 42nd free pass. But 35 of those walks have come against left-handed pitching. So from the right side, seems to have not necessarily a better eye, but maybe he's just more difficult to pitch to. I don't know.
Well, he's always been a great fastball hitter. And you can't throw it hard enough for this guy. He'll turn, he sits on it, he's a disciplined hitter. And the fact that you're not going to beat him with a fastball, don't try to trick him with a fastball.
Can we get just this out of the way? The way Tim Timmons calls strikes is awesome. I love the called third strike, or I love just the called strike. It's great.
Two nouns and a vowel.
One hopper to Nico Goodrum. Easy play for out number 2 here in the 5th. Come on, didn't you ever umpire when you were a kid?
Of course I did.
Yeah, there you go. So how did you call strikes?
I wasn't too vocal. It was very physical. I had quite
you had the movement?
Yeah, I practiced the punch out. It was fun.
You know, I got a friend who still does that. And he calls it a lot like Tim Timmons. Steve, right. I like that.
I got a good friend who is an NCAA basketball referee.
I know. I've called games with him reffing.
Yeah, you know him. And, of course, I accuse him of that authority thing when he has stripes. He looks like a prisoner, but, boy, does he have fun teeing up some coaches. And I go, what is it about that you like so much? He says, you know, I'm the best. I listen, I take it, and then I don't take it anymore. I can relate.
On the ground this time to short, Willie Castro.
Good inning.
A good inning for Nick Ramirez. The Tribe go 1-2-3. And just the second team overall. Good stuff. Thanks, Mick. Can you name some players on that 2008 White Sox squad? You ready?
I can.
A.J. Przinsky, who you've worked with. Paul Konerko. Do you remember Joe Creedy? Nick Swisher? Right? Jermaine Dye. Jim Thome.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Ken Griffey Jr. was part of that team.
Give me some of the pictures. Sure.
Mark Burley, John Danks, Gavin Floyd.
There you go.
Does that work?
Mark Burley, man. He had a year that year, too.
Yeah, he was good, man. He really was.
Look at that, Shep.
Bonifacio sends one to left, but right there is Josh Naylor. You thought that was going to drop, didn't you?
I did.
Here's the standings in the American League. How good is Tampa? Look at how hot New York has gotten to overtake Toronto. It should be a good battle down the stretch here. Minnesota now 3 games back of Chicago because of the loss. And Oakland looks like they're in control in the West. And then the wild card we're keeping an eye on, Cleveland trying to fend off any would-be comers.
In case you missed it, Shane Bieber started this game 7-1 with a league-leading 1.53 ERA. And guess what? He's making it better so far.
Romine right back up the middle. That works.
Yeah.
Second hit of the night for the Tigers. We'd shown you Minnesota being 3 games back in the division. Josh Donaldson had a big blow today, but also got in a little bit of trouble. Didn't like that call.
Yeah, it was a ball, and they called it a strike. And then he turns on one, right? Hits a home run. He should be happy. Look what he does. Comes back, and he gets thrown, and then he, pulls a Billy Martin, Earl Weaver.
Give me one word for that. Clean word.
Silly.
Mine was childish.
Yeah. Kid's game.
I mean, you just hurt your team. I mean, they need you in that line.
They end up coming back, Chicago did, and winning the game.
Yeah,
and right there with that hit, he had put him in front.
You hurt your ball club. You're hurting your mates, man. It just doesn't make any sense for just that one short period of time. You had your say with the umpire. He was asking him a question. And when you do something like that, you know you're getting ejected, right?
You can't help but admire
Paredes on a fly ball to center.
You know, the fact that he plays the game with a little bit of a chip. But, hey, umpires, they've been behind the dish for a century plus. And they've made mistakes for a century plus. And guess what? Tonight and tomorrow and every game, the rest of the season, there's going to be some mistakes. Tell me that you don't make mistakes. Tell me that I don't make mistakes, right? We all do it.
Sure, yeah.
So, you know, Josh Donaldson is not hitting 1,000, so he's obviously made some mistakes. And yet, I'd like him, you know.
Yeah, heat of the moment,
I'm not going to defend him for that. I think it was silly and childish, yeah. But he's still a guy that probably is going to help your team.
No doubt. Although there's no doubt he hurt him tonight. There's Daz Cameron. Popped out to Roberto Perez his first time out. Bieber just cruising along. You see in the lower right-hand corner. That's 72 pitches from Bieber now. Perez holds that for an extra click because that looked pretty good. 1-1. Fly ball to right. Naquin camps under it. And the Tigers strand a one-out single from Austin Romine. And we're through 5. Brought to you by our friends at Kroger. Let's take you back to 1968 when the Tigers beat the Yankees at Tiger Stadium 2-1. Don Wirt delivering a key walk-off hit and Al Kaline scoring the winning run. And the Tigers go on to the World Series for the first time since 1945. And then ended up beating the St. Louis Cardinals. That guy, those three guys, crucial in that. Willie Horton, a phenomenal throw from left field to get Lou Brock at home plate. Mickey Lulich started 3 games, won 3 games, and all were complete games. And Bill Freehan was the catcher in those games. And we had probably, that's one of the most important and memorable pictures in Detroit sports history when Mickey Lulich is jumping into the arms of Bill Freehan. We can throw a few others in there if we'd like. I mean, Kirk Gibson crossing home plate after that home run off Goose Gossage in 1984. Steve Yzerman raising the Stanley Cup for the first time when Detroit won it 4 times in an 11-year span.
Lambeer, Mahorn, Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah.
The whole group.
Yeah, kissing the championship trophy. Tyler Naquin leading off the Cleveland 6th. Singled and scored his last time up. Struck out in the 2nd. It'll be Naquin, Roberto Perez, and Josh Naylor for Cleveland, who comes into this one 26 wins, 23 losses. Full count to the leadoff man.
Well, will Nick come with a fastball here? He's got to throw a strike or at least induce a swing.
On the ground for Nico Goodrum.
And it played right.
Yeah, steady second base from Goodrum. And now a message from MGM Grand Detroit.
We look forward to welcoming you back to all the excitement and grand times you expect. MGM done safely is still MGM.
Here's Roberto Perez with one away. I need to throw in one more iconic picture reference if I can. The Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups together. One holding the MVP trophy, Billups, the other holding the World Championship trophy. Wallace.
Well, you know, iconic-wise, how do you not include Gordie Howe in one of those, you know, memories?
For sure, yeah. The production line, skating and spraying ice into the camera. How about you jumping into Lance Parrish's arms in the no-hitter? That's iconic.
Some good memories, definitely, and we're looking forward to some more of those down the road here.
Yeah, there's some collegiate ones in there, too. I'm just talking off the top of our head here, folks. And no, I'm not going back to Bobby Lane. Here's the 2-1 to Perez. Although, carrying Barry Sanders off on their shoulders after he gained over 2,000 yards in a season was pretty cool. So we've covered all 4 professional teams for folks out there. 3-2 to Roberto Perez. Grounded out in the second, walked in the 4th.
These are important innings for Nick Ramirez. You know, it's a kind of a mop-up role. You see Jordan Zimmerman, he's getting loose, so maybe he'll get an inning or 2 in this game also. Ramirez, if they can get 2 more outs out of him, that'd be great.
That's the 4th walk of the night for Cleveland. They have as many walks as hits tonight.
Making the most of their hits. 3 RBI for Jose Ramirez, kind of like yesterday's game where Sal Perez, or 2 games ago, Sal Perez had what was yesterday's game? 3 RBI.
Naylor is grounded out and popped out. He popped out with the bases loaded in the 4th. And then Casey Mize was 1 out away from getting out of it before the error from Isaac Paredes extended the inning. 2-1 now to Naylor. Good stop by Romine, but it's 3-1.
Naylor from Mississauga, Ontario, right by Toronto there.
It's hockey country.
Yeah. He's got a brother in pro ball too, doesn't he, Sean?
Yeah, Cleveland drafted him. Bo Taylor, or Naylor rather. Swing and a miss. Nick Ramirez comes back and gets Naylor with his 3rd strikeout of the night.
Another changeup for Nick. You see his grip there, and Naylor a little bit out in front of it. Actually, he was on it pretty good. He just missed the pitch.
And now Ramirez deals with Oscar Mercado. Drives 1 to left. Bonifacio right where he stands. And Cleveland is out in the 6th. Kickoff back to school with the Detroit Tigers Kids Club membership. Packages start at just $16 and include a Tigers jersey, a sling bag, and more. So let's all root together with the Detroit Tigers Kids Club. To purchase, visit tigers.com/Kids Club today. Shane Bieber reaches the 6th. Another impressive line for Bieber. And he'll deal with Victor Reyes, Willie Castro, and Miguel Cabrera.
Top of the order here for Detroit. 3rd look now at Bieber for those guys.
The average has dipped for Victor Reyes, 1 for his last 21. Grounded foul. We asked Ron Gardenhire about that earlier today, and he said, look, I mean, he's been in there every inning, every day. I mean, guys got to find a way to play through being tired a little bit, right?
And a few bad habits, you know. I think Craig Monroe kind of nailed it here today, talking a little bit about he gets in this swing mode where he's already predetermined that he's going to take a rip at it, and he's swung out of the zone a bunch. But Gardy also mentioned he's hit a lot of balls hard right at people. That's all part of the slumps for hitters. Will he get him to swing and chase? Will he throw one in the zone?
The 2-2. Easy play for Carlos Santana for the first down. It's not just the fact that Detroit only has 2 hits and a walk here tonight. It's that nobody really looks comfortable against Shane Bieber, do they?
He doesn't throw that many pitches in the zone, and so you're not seeing guys square up pitches. We just saw Victor take the best possible hitting pitch for strike one. Fastball right down the middle, right? And he's thinking breaking ball, and he gets the express. So when you get caught in between and you start playing that game of guessing what pitch it might be early in counts, which all hitters do, and you guess wrong, it just really can play some mind games.
Quickly 0-2 on Willie Castro.
So hard to lay off that pitch. And yet, that's what makes Bieber great and what makes it frustrating for hitters. Again, it's a curveball that starts belt high low in the zone. It's in the zone where it starts out of his hand and then just disappears out of the zone. You see Perez there calling for it. Boy, that one was really out of the zone, but you get in swing mode trying to protect.
It's 8 strikeouts now for Bieber.
Roberto Perez kind of touching his glove to the ground. He wants him to throw that down. He blocks the ball. Look at that. It's a knuckle curve. He kind of spikes that index finger, and then he gets the other finger through the baseball with great spin.
That's 8 strikeouts or more in all 11 starts for Shane Bieber this year. Miguel Cabrera has challenged him despite striking out in his last at-bat. Cabrera has seen 14, now 15 pitches in his at-bats against Bieber. Sent to center. Mercado with a long run. And on the warning track. Tigers go 1-2-3. Just download Fox Sports Go on your mobile device and stream Tigers games live. Never miss another Tigers game again with Fox Sports Go. With Hall of Famer Jack Morris, Johnny Kane, our entire Fox Sports Detroit family, I'm Matt Shepard. A Wallside Windows pitching change. Jordan Zimmerman, just his 2nd career relief appearance, and it comes here in the 7th against Cleveland with the Tribe up 5-0.
Well, it's kind of bittersweet in some ways for Jordan. I'm glad he's getting a chance to pitch in this game. You know, here's a guy that didn't want to just walk away from the game without giving it his all and keeping in shape and working. And, you know, he's had to be down at Toledo for most of this shortened season. And he's worked hard enough to get back to the big leagues. I know that's just a small accomplishment for him, but very proud of his work ethic, even though things didn't really turn out the way he had hoped here in Detroit.
Well, look, to his credit, a guy who could have just said, you know what, forget it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just sit the rest of the season. I'll collect my money. He came back, and Detroit had been blown out by St. Louis, if people recall, 12-2. The next day, He starts against the Cardinals, goes 3 innings, gives up 1 run, strikes out a couple, and kept his team in the game. Detroit ends up winning at 6-3. So there it is right there, 42 pitches. Not necessarily a strikeout pitcher like he may have been at times in his career earlier. Detroit's hoping to get a couple innings out of him here. Lindor greets him with a fly ball to left. Bonifacio, nice running catch. The only other relief appearance that you saw there moments ago of September 25th of 2016 came within the division. Pitched against Kansas City that day.
And I just can't express to fans how hard it is for a guy to battle through some of that. You know, he's lost so much on his fastball. Tonight so far, 89 is where he's topped out. This is a guy that used to throw in high 90s, and he could dot it. He's always had great command. So he's kind of had to reinvent himself to try to stay active and stay relevant here.
Hernandez goes the other way with a base hit.
Anyway, it's a tribute, like Shep said, to a guy that is willing to keep working and not just throwing the towel. He wants to be a part of this group of guys. He loves his teammates. They respect him. Fastball here that Cesar Hernandez is able to fight off and shoot the other way for his second hit, yeah.
The relief role not completely foreign to Zimmerman either, from the sense that he did pitch in relief in the 2012 divisional series. Before that, it was all the way back to high A in 2008. Here's Jose Ramirez, who has some impressive numbers against Zimmerman in their head-to-head clashes. He's been impressive on his 28th birthday here tonight. A couple of homers and a 2-for-3 night. Oh, man. Beautiful piece of hitting. Going the other way when they had the shift on. Hernandez goes all the way to third, and Ramirez is out at second base.
Good job
nice
right there.
throw by Bonifacio.
Yeah, that was a great throw by Bonifacio. He knew he was not going to get Hernandez. Hernandez went around second base. Now they're going to challenge it. But the very thought that Jorge Bonifacio was able to go to second base knowing that Ramirez is going to try to sneak around and get that extra bag. Hard to see if he touched him right there. Here, this is going to be a better look, I think. Yeah, looks like he made it.
He touched him for sure, but that hand on the bag, right there it is. This will be an interesting look.
Yeah, safe. So close.
But to your point, Bonifacio alert to the situation and throwing to the right base.
Right. He wasn't going to get Hernandez at third base. So he throws behind Hernandez to second base, hoping to get that guy. But I think it's going to be ruled a double. We'll see.
Ramirez looks pretty confident. Has to be clear and convincing evidence that the call on the field was incorrect. And obviously they got that clear and convincing evidence because they overturned it. Third extra base hit of the night for Jose Ramirez.
You know, you talk about going with the pitch. He throws a perfect pitch down and away, but guess what? Nobody's over there. So he just flips the bat, a la Tony Gwynn right there, finds that opening, knows where the fielders are, and he ends up on second base with a double.
Now Carlos Santana looks at strike one. So you say the perfect pitch, and I know what you mean by that as the infield moves in. But you've told us when you're playing the shift,
right,
some of that responsibility is on the pitcher, on to make the right pitch in the right spot.
You know, and this is such a, you know, a flip or an argument that you make, right? Is like, all right, you're shifting to the right side. You want to throw the ball in to get the ground ball in. Well, what if you can't get the ground ball? Or you pitch him away and a guy always tries to pull and he rolls one over. That's more when he's more likely to roll over a ground ball, is trying to pull a pitch that's away from him. It's just, that's when you got to tip your hat to the hitter and say, you know what, you did what you're supposed to do there. I threw it there and you went with it. It's frustrating, though, because you're absolutely right, Shep. I would prefer to throw the ball in if they're going to shift that way. But I need a ground ball. You know, that's why we're shifting.
Well, we should also note Ramirez went yard twice on 2 pitches that were
He's pretty
hit or
hot
half
right now.
Yeah.
You know, you saw him hit 2 pretty good home run pitches, and then that one, that was just an absolute clinic on how to hit the ball. He's that kind of guy. When he gets hot, I mean, he's phenomenal.
It's 3-2 to Carlos Santana. He walked and scored in the 4th, part of a Cleveland 4-run 4th. Franmil Reyes waits for his shot on deck. Big pitch coming from Jordan Zimmerman. And for the 2nd time tonight, Carlos Santana draws a free pass. And the bases are loaded. And now this from Kubota. Here comes Franmil Reyes. He's the designated hitter for the Indians. Although instead of DH, it could be DE, as in defensive end in the NFL. That's how big this dude is. Right back up the middle, base hit. 1 run is home. Ramirez will score. And all the way to 3rd goes Carlos Santana. 2 more for Cleveland, and it's 7-0.
You know, again, Shep, this is a game of inches. You got the pitch, you got the result you're looking for. You just didn't have it hit at somebody.
Reyes, who had been mired in a 3-for-33 slump, feels good with that 2-run single. And Tyler Naquin on the ground to Willie Castro. Nico Goodrum's turn, not in time. Another run home for Cleveland. And there are 2 away here in the 7th.
Watch how far Nico Goodrum goes here. He gets the ball, but he keeps running, right? And that fade right there, that drift away from the bag, probably cost him a fraction or so of a second and could have been the difference in turning 2. It's hard to stay on the bag and push off the bag towards second base, but he needed to be able to do that on that when he turned it in order to get the double play there.
7th batter of the inning for Cleveland. It's Roberto Perez, who's drawn a couple of walks and grounded out. Takes inside 1-1. In there for strike 2. Little low. 2-2 on the comebacker. Nice play by Zimmerman, but Cleveland scores 3 runs on 3 hits. They've opened it up. It's 8-0 Indians. Coming up, it's the DTE 7th inning stretch at home with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due limited to just 2 hits here tonight. They're getting shut out 8-0. Shane Bieber's been everything we talked about before. He's been so impressive against Detroit this season, but really against everybody. What has impressed you most on this night?
Well, I think it's just the fact that he's true to form. This is who he is. This is who he's become. And, you know, if you're going to face the Shane Biebers of the world, you've got to keep it within 1 run. You know, you've got to give your team that chance to maybe have him make the mistake that'll cost him a ball game. And when you spot him 8, it's an uphill climb, Shep, that might be unsurmountable.
Jamer Candelario, Nico Goodrum, and Jorge Bonifacio for the Tigers here in the 7th. The 2 hits, a 2nd inning single for Bonifacio, and a 5th inning single from Austin Romine. That's all they've been able to muster against this talented young right-hander.
You know, I was reading about the fact that he doesn't throw that many breaking balls for strikes. And I said to myself, well, and yet that's where he gets the majority of his strikeouts from. And I said to myself, well, you know, what is it about that? Well, it just flashed in my brain how I used to use my forkball. In that when I got ahead, I would throw it down the bottom of the zone. A lot of times it would bounce. Lance would block it. He'd pick it up, throw the guy out at first because he swung and missed. And Bieber uses his curveball a lot of the same way. He starts and shows it that it looks and appears that it's going to be a strike. The bottom falls out, and he gets the same result. He's got a great fastball. He started the game with fastball command, you know, and that's what he had to establish to make that curveball so effective. Is that enough of the hitters saw fastballs, they think they're going to get another one, and that he's going to make a mistake right there in the whooping zone. It just never happened. I think the only fastball that I can remember in this game that was a hittable fastball over the middle was one to Victor Reyes in his last time up, and that was the first pitch of that at bat.
The payoff to Candelario. A grounder to Carlos Santana. Takes it himself.
Here's our Comerica Bank game summary, and Shane Bieber has been really, really good. Fastballs early, tailing fastballs. And he started throwing the curveball, getting guys guessing and thinking the other way. That's the point of the game where it becomes fun for a pitcher, knowing that, hey, they're thinking one and I got the other one. He's been good. Just 1 walk in this game for Shane Bieber.
Also, the most left-handed batters faced without a home run allowed in the majors this year. That's impressive. Right back to him. And he takes his time with an underhand toss to Santana to retire Goodrum.
Well, to put a exclamation point on what I was just saying about Bieber and all his strikeouts, 8 tonight. There you go, folks. How many are in the strike zone? How many are in that white box? Not one. But those were all swing and misses. Getting hitters to think and chase. It's just an art, and when you're able to do it, you're going to be really good.
21 swing and misses for Bieber so far tonight. Ramirez on the run to retire Bonifacio. 8 straight retired by Shane Bieber. Putting on a clinic in Detroit. Here's baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by the 2020 Census. Help your community by filling out your 2020 Census form by September 30th. What a night for Jose Ramirez. Celebrates his 28th birthday. He has a 2-run homer, a solo homer, and a double. A 3-for-4 night. Cleveland, a team that scored 1 in the first, 4 in the fourth, 3 in the 7th, and begins the 8th with an 8-0 lead against Jordan Zimmerman. Josh Naylor goes the other way, beats the shift. Second Indians player to do that, and a leadoff single here for the Cleveland left fielder.
Nobody throwing in the Tiger pen, so Gardy wants Zim to kind of wear a little bit here, see if he can finish this ball game even, give him a chance to wrap it up, maybe save the bullpen. This is a 4-game series against Cleveland, and you know that we're going to need some guys out of the pen for the next 3 games, so not an off day until Monday.
Well, especially tomorrow, right, Jack? I mean, Michael Fulmer starts for the Tigers tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's typically a two-man game anyway.
Yeah.
Michael's definitely not going to be going more than 3 or at the most 4 innings.
Daniel Norris, who usually follows Fulmer, pitched the 9th inning last night in the loss to Kansas City and did well, but Tyler Alexander is well rested.
Gardy mentioned that.
Yeah.
He might go with Alexander tomorrow. He said he could go with Norris. You know, it's one of the reasons Gardy got him in. He had not pitched in a while.
1-1 to Oscar Mercado. 0 for 3, but was on base in the 4th thanks to the error by Isaac Paredes.
That was a big blow, and I don't want to pick on Isaac, but that one was something that could have really changed everything.
You've said it time and time again, when you got some young players, Paredes, Castro, Cameron, Reyes to a certain extent, and Zimmerman registers the strikeout there, you're going to have some growing pains.
Absolutely.
You just got to deal with it.
It's not a personal thing. It's just reality.
Yep.
Everybody does it.
Yep. You went through it. A lot of people do. Here's the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Windows. We hinted at it. Michael Fulmer against Zach Plesac. Coverage with Tigers Live with Mickey York, Dan Petrie, Craig Monroe, and Johnny Kane begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Hope you can join us.
Plesac, another one of the good right-handed pitchers, young pitchers. See his great earned run average in the win column. +1. Cooling down here. Fall is in the air.
Yeah, starting to feel it, huh? Some of the leaves starting to fall as well. Didn't like that, cutting the front yard today. A lot of leaves on the ground.
Yeah, that's what kids are for, Shep. Trouble is there not too many of them at home anymore, are there?
Right, that's part of the problem. I enjoy cutting the grass. You don't enjoy cutting your lawn?
I used to do it.
You got that riding lawnmower.
Well,
you got
know,
about, what, 15 acres
57
or so?
acres.
57?
It's not easy to push that. I used to.
That was your cardio workout. All right, good for you.
You know, my problem is I was too anal. I just, you know, I thought I did a better job than the lawn service, but I've kind of just handed them the baton and say, go ahead, guys. I'll accept that mediocre job. I wanted it to look like this field. You know, you put the little cross checks in there and some stripes.
Right.
We're used to looking at a lawn that's manicured like this. That's what I want in my backyard.
You seem like a guy who would cut it at least twice a week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
My lawn was on about a 4-day rotation.
All right. And, of course...
And that's a curse of fertilizer, right? You want it to look green and good and it's going to grow. Guess what? Get the lawnmower ready.
Absolutely. And you're trimming, right? Of course, you got the weed whacker.
No.
You're not doing
when
that?
You do a good job, you just have the ability to put the edge of that mower right on the edge of the grass.
No, see, I can do that. You've got to have the trimmer, though. You've got to have the trimmer to be able to get nice and tight up against the driveway and the road. And that's just me. Getting the opportunity to make sure it looks nice and crisp, almost like a piece of carpeting.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to argue that.
I don't know how the riding lawnmowers can do that, though.
You know, here's a good one, Shep. I just get a text from my kid.
Okay.
Dad, pretty sure we only have 5 acres, you know, and 4 of those are woods that we don't cut.
You just expect that stable of horses to chew up the grass, is what you're saying, right? Remember, Jack
Goats.
did own a
Goats.
farm that had a ton of horses. You did have a ton of horses in Montana.
I did. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life.
Foul tip by Lindor.
I lived in western Wisconsin a few years, and I had about 5 acres, literally 5 acres of grass to mow. Had a riding lawnmower. Those were the fun days, man.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That thing flew. Man, and there was no trees, so you could just whip back and forth. I was done quicker in that yard than I was in my current yard because of all the trees. By the way,
Gives you that alone time.
No, never ever try to grow grass with trees. It just doesn't work.
Note to self. Duly noted, Jack.
I just needed more of a challenge.
Ninth pitch, a swing and a miss by Lindor. Second strikeout of the inning for Jordan Zimmerman.
Yeah, Zim picks up his second strikeout here of Lindor, back-to-back strikeouts.
Here's Cesar Hernandez. A couple of singles, a couple of runs scored for the Indians' second baseman. Hernandez came into the game tonight leading the league in doubles with 16. The 2-0, grounded foul. Eight runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Indians. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Tigers. The other way to left. Bonifacio got a late jump, and he's going to reach out off his glove and up against the wall. Hernandez trots into second. Naylor will score, and it's 9-0 Cleveland.
I really thought Jorge was going to run that one down. He had a good route efficiency, went directly to the baseball. Didn't see it right off the crack, but he went after it. It's a slider that stays out over the plate. Here it is again. Right off the end of the glove. Cesar Hernandez now with a 3-hit game.
And unfortunately, we kind of teed him up for that double, right? He said leading the league, and there it is, 17 now for Cesar Hernandez. And now they have to deal with Jose Ramirez, who skies it foul. He's had a big night, Jack.
Yeah, 2 home runs on 2 split fingers. First one middle, and then the next one was up even higher with a runner aboard. So 3 RBI in his first 2 at-bats.
And then the double the other way. That's 24 hits in his last 19 games for Jose Ramirez. That is some kind of feel-good role, huh?
Well, that's how you get your batting average back into respectability.
Well, you saw it moments ago that it's at 272. He started the night at 261, so
Yeah,
jumped 11
he was
points.
down
That's
under
pretty good.
230 there.
Yeah, for a while. Did he hold up? He did. No surprise that he goes deep into counts. No player in the American League sees more pitches per plate appearance than Jose Ramirez. Here's the 3-2. Fouled it back. And how big is that at the top of your lineup when you can force that pitcher to use everything they've got?
Yeah, you make a good pitch like Zim just threw, and he's able to flip that bat out there and get a piece of it, foul it off, stay alive. That's really frustrating for a pitcher. But that's how hard it is to get strike three.
Way out in front.
Swing mode there. That ball was way off the plate.
You saw that box score, though, Jack. Only 2 Indians players with multi-hit games.
Yep.
One is at second
They've
base
spread
and
it
one is
around,
in the
though.
box. Yeah. Another 3-2 and another one fouled away.
Eight pitch at bat. Gosh, you want to win these as a pitcher. Just hate losing these battles. Of course, the hitter feels the same way. I always say in these kind of battles that the more pitches you throw, the advantage goes to the hitter. Sooner or later, you're either going to walk them, you're going to make a mistake, or a hittable pitch. So it's even that harder, much harder for a pitcher to win this battle.
Ramirez with a ground ball, and that's going to find a hole.
Look at that.
Hernandez will score double-digit runs for Cleveland.
When you're going good, right? He just throws his bat literally at the ball. And he finds the hole there. He's actually surprised that he made contact right there. Right off the end of the bat as he's throwing it. Look at that. He's wondering, did I hit that ball?
Yeah, a little jab step toward the mound and then off to first base. Ronnie Garcia is neat. Welcome back. We broadcast tonight's game and other events with heavy hearts. A longtime member of our Fox Sports Detroit family unexpectedly passed away recently. Our friend Kirk Erdman loved to play guitar, loved Detroit sports, and was passionate about his job. He would always greet you with a smile and say, "Hello, my friend." He's survived by his family and his friends who loved him dearly, and we'll miss him. Two outs in the 8th. Ronnie Garcia is on to try and handle Carlos Santana. Santana 0 for 2, but he's walked twice and scored both times that he's been given that free pass. And he pops it up. Shallow right. Cameron tracking it, and he puts it away. Big inning for Cleveland. Five homers in one inning.
Ouch.
That's incredible.
They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, they sure are. And you saw one of those homers Mickey was talking about, Giancarlo Stanton. Now that he's back in that lineup, and Luke Voigt
Voigt at it again.
Oh, just continues to torch people.
Yu Chang taking over at third.
Shane Bieber started this inning throwing 93 pitches, but that was a long wait for him. That's the second time that his team has had long waits because of long innings and big innings. Didn't seem to bother him the last time. Didn't seem to bother him to start the 8th against Austin Romine either. Just to finish up what Mickey York was telling you during that game break from the Xfinity desk, the Bronx Bombers, literally, 7th team in MLB history with 5 homers in a single inning. First team, as Mickey had mentioned, with 6 homers in 3 straight games. And Luke Voigt, the 3rd player ever in Yankees lore with 20 homers in the first 50 games.
The Bronx Bombers are living up to the billing, right? They're starting to get hot. They've overtaken Toronto. And, you know, they're my sleeper pick because of that. I think it's so important that you're playing some of your best ball as you approach postseason.
You and I were talking about the MVP candidates earlier tonight. Luke Voigt was part of the conversation. 20 homers now. There was a time not too long ago, within the last couple of weeks, maybe the last week, where he had 15 homers and was trailing Mike Trout. Suddenly he surged forward. It's him, then Jose Abreu, and then Nelson Cruz. Paredes drives one into the right field corner. It's surrounded by Tyler Naquin and Isaac Paredes with a 1-out double here in the Tigers' 8th. Just the 3rd hit off Shane Bieber here tonight.
Well, good for him. I think that was a fastball that was up out over the plate. Take another look at it. Here it is. It is a fastball, and he went the other way. Good piece of hitting. He didn't let Bieber get to that curveball, jumping on it early.
And he's starting to turn it around a little bit. Hits in 5 of his last 6 games now for Isaac Paredes. And here's Daz Cameron. A pop out and a fly out for Cameron so far tonight. Down the right field line, curving foul. Santana giving chase and won't catch it.
You know what the problem with that one is for Santana? Is he saw Naquin coming into his peripheral vision. Had Naquin kind of given up 20 feet earlier, that first baseman's got more of a ability to run through it. You know, he knows he still has room. He was peeking out there at the wall, so he knew the warning track and the wall there was not in the equation. But it gives Daz Cameron a new life here.
Now 0-2. Meanwhile, another quality start for Shane Bieber, his MLB leading 10th of the season. And Cleveland's MLB leading 34th of the year.
Look up.
And tight.
He's gassed, Shep. He's done. Hung his first pitch. Made a mistake.
Made the mistake to Paredes. You can see him unraveling a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they don't have that bullpen busy right now. Even though he's the opposition, it can be fun to watch someone who's as good at their craft as Shane Bieber. You just wish
well,
you got a break here.
103 pitches into the game. He makes a mistake, right? Ball kind of squirts out of his fingers. What does he do the next pitch? He comes back with the same pitch and he makes a strike. I mean, that's the ability to really focus in. You know, every pitch is meaningful, and the best pitchers are able to make that in-game adjustment quickly. It's a hand-eye memory thing that you're able to, yeah, I need my arm in this spot just a fraction different.
And now the bullpen starts to stir a little bit, right? It's just because of the pitch count.
Yeah, 105.
Yeah.
You know, it's another thing for a manager to have a guy like this, knowing that he's in Cy Young discussion, And, you know, you're not only pulling for him to help your team win a game, but you're trying to set him up to remove all doubt from riders.
Strikes out Cameron for the second out here in the 8th.
Goes back to the fastball. 94, so maintaining his velocity and great command, perfect location. 10th strikeout.
So 94-mile-an-hour gas on the 106th pitch he delivered tonight. Interesting to note that the highest leverage situation, the 21 pitches in the 4th, he struck out the side, but he walked the leadoff man. So
Well, again, here we are in the 7th or the 8th inning, and we talked about that percentage of guys that get on base that actually come around to score. And again, a great sign of a great pitcher is just keeping that runner stranded.
Derek Hill pinch hitting for Victor Reyes here with 2 down. Looking for his first major league hit. 1-1 to him. Here's the 1-1. Missed low.
That's his current ERA. So it went from
Can you see it?
1.53 to 1.31.
Double-digit strikeouts in 5 of his last 7 starts now. Roberto Perez waves. Just, hey, let's start all over, shall we?
Yeah, you don't want to overthink it here.
The 2-1 to Derek Hill.
Jeez. Wow. You know, and that's another thing.
It's a tough one.
I'll be totally honest. The best pitchers always get more, you know, and Perez helped frame that. The ball's 4 inches low. Derek Hill's probably wondering what this big league life is all about.
That one skips by Perez. Paredes trots up to third. Three and 2 to Derek Hill. And here it is, fouled away.
Well, it'd be a big moment for Derek to get his first major league hit right here, drive in a run, ruin the shutout for Bieber. It would be memorable for him.
Another 3-2. And another foul.
Has he thrown enough here to get him in swing mode and then drop the curve down in the zone? Will Hill go for it? I got to believe he will. He's got to protect. Misses.
Derek Hill draws a 2-out walk. Thank you, Tigers fans. As part of Fan Appreciation Month, enjoy 25% off all regularly priced Tigers merchandise at the Comerica Park D Shop throughout the entire month of September. Shop safely and save at the Comerica Park D Shop. For information, call 313-471-2673.
Acting manager Sandy Alomar probably has to come get him. He's going to talk it over here. It's about pitch count, right? He's trying to save and not hurt his guy. He knows he wants to get out of his own mess. Sandy's going to let him do it. You know, I love that guy, number one. He was my battery mate the 1 year I pitched in Cleveland. I know him very well. And I love the fact that he let the pitcher make the decision. You know, Bieber could have said, you know what, Sandy, I've had enough. 114 pitches. It's a lot of pitches. But Carl Willis, another one of my teammates, is the pitching coach, and I think he probably let Sandy know, hey, let him decide. He needs an out to get out of this half inning.
Yeah, they opened the door to the pen,
yeah.
So he kind of talked himself back into that one. Deals with Willie Castro. And I thought we could read lips there when Bieber says, I can get him. I know he was covering his mouth, but the good shot we had from our camera guys kind of gave you that indication. I can get him, so.
Struck him out twice. Curveballs that Willie has not really made an adjustment to, but he's got to get ahead to drop those curveballs. Change up first pitch. That was low.
2-0.
Another one.
Travis Demerit has grabbed a bat to pinch hit for Miguel Cabrera.
How many guys have done that, Shep? Something you could tell your grandkids.
With video proof. The 2-0 fouled away. Six-game home hitting streak on the line for Willie Castro tonight.
You know, we look at the pitch count, 117, we think, what a freak. This guy's just not human, right? I mean, that's the way it was for 80, 90 years in baseball. It just changed in the last decade plus.
The 2-1 ripped down the right field line. And that ball is
run.
Gone. Willie Castro goes yard, a 3-run blast. Gets the Tigers on the board and extends his home hitting streak to 7. Nice splash here in the 8th.
You know, good for Willie, number one. You know, you'll take anything right now. But Sandy Alomar is probably going to tease Bieber about that. Yeah, that was a great job of talking me out.
Still a heck of a night for Shane Bieber. Yep, 10 strikeouts, but Willie Castro finally got to him. Paredes' double. A little bit stunned after that 3-run homer from Willie Castro here with 2 out in the 8th, and it barely got over the wall and curled around the foul pole.
Yeah, this one stays about a foot fair. And there's not much room between that and the concrete behind it. It stays in between the two of them. But it counts just as much as Franmil Reyes' one off the Chevy sign straightaway center. You know, the moral of the story there, Bieber pitched great. But guess what? Even him, 1 walk ahead of the big hit. Those darn walks.
Travis Demerit hitting for Miguel Cabrera. Boy, Willie Castro can hit, man, can he?
Need a walk, 3-run home run, and a pair of strikeouts tonight.
Demerit goes the other way, foul. Against Cam Hill, into the game for Cleveland to try and finish up here for the Indians. 2-2 now to Travis Demerit.
By the way, that crunching noise you hear, we talked about it the other night, that is not my buddy getting the crackers ready for the beer-battered walleye. That's Jamer Candelario taking his practice swings.
On the short hop, Lindor retires Demerit. Tigers on the board.
Are looking live at Matthew Boyd. He was expected to throw on Sunday in the series finale, but I want to flash back, guys. 3 years ago, September 17, 2017, Tigers-White Sox, Matthew Boyd loses his no-hit bid with 2 outs in the 9th inning. He was masterful that day. There it was. Tim Anderson spoiled it. He was that close. Tigers, though, would go on to win the ball game 12-0. What a moment. I remember it well. It was a big hug from James McCann. I think I asked him something profound post-game, like, how tough is it to get 27 outs? And he was, like, pretty tough. So that's what I remember.
I like that Tim Anderson tipped his cap to Matthew Boyd too, right?
That was it. Do you remember? I mean, I remember that game vividly. Yeah. Obviously, you always remember where you are when you see something like that. Yeah, and Tim Anderson obviously hasn't slowed down since then.
the atmosphere, and obviously when you get a performance like that, but you know, you just get caught up, and that's what we miss right now, right, Johnny? I mean, we miss that kind of ambiance.
No, that's all part of it. I mean, the whole game day atmosphere, I mean, that's what you come to the ballpark. I mean, I love hanging out with you guys, our talented crew, but when you take the interaction with the players out of it, the interaction with all the fans, the actual crowd noise, the visuals that you get from our, all our camera guys that seem to find, some of the great imagery taking place in the stands, and now we see it. I mean, it's become the new norm, but, I don't know if you ever completely come to grips with it.
Franmil Reyes, Tyler Naquin, and Roberto Perez scheduled for the Indians here in the 9th.
I think one of the funnest things we all do, and Johnny probably gets cheated out of this more than we do now, Shep, because we do post-game interviews after wins and usually get a player that had a good contribution. But Johnny used to grab the emotion right there, right?
Yeah.
And once in a while you get the Gatorade shower, but certainly I know he misses that.
Well, you got the dry cleaning bill. You can always submit that.
If I wore shoes as expensive as Jack's, I'd probably go out there with garbage bags over them.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, the only plus you got, Johnny, is those tennis shoes can be thrown in the washing machine.
Exactly. Canvas, they always wash out.
But that's a good point, Jack. I mean, we miss, seeing Johnny and Trevor down there interviewing the players and the emotion that they have, and then the entire crowd kind of sticking around and watching that interview on the big Comerica Park screen here in left field and saluting what that player may have done. 0-2 to Tyler Naquin. But as Johnny mentioned, hopefully it'll be back the way we were used to seeing and dealing with things.
It will be. We just don't know how long.
Quick out for Ronnie Garcia there. To strike out Tyler Naquin on 3 pitches.
Far down Ronnie Garcia is with that pitch. That's almost sidearm right there, and he gets the movement because of his wrist and where the ball is. The ball runs away a little, runs it up in the zone. Naquin can catch up to it.
Here's Roberto Perez, who's walked a couple of times tonight. Cleveland has 6 walks, and Austin Romine took one there for the team. Courtesy move by Tim Timmons to walk it all the way out to Ronnie Garcia.
Courtesy move by the umpire there, letting The catcher catches breath. Right off the top of the quad there.
And of course, Roberto Perez can relate. So he takes his time getting back in the box. Here's the 0-2 to him. Low. One-two broken bat and a looper for Jamer Candelario at first base for the second out. Cleveland has 10 hits to go with those 10 runs, but they also have 6 walks. A couple of those walks have scored here tonight. And they got a couple of homers, both by Jose Ramirez. There's Josh Naylor, who singled his last time up. The single beat the shift that the Tigers implemented. He literally went the other way between third base and Isaac Paredes, who's playing right at the shortstop position. But that hasn't scared the Tigers off from the numbers. They haven't played the same way as they did last time. That's a big number. 5 of the 10 runs, so half the runs for Cleveland tonight, have scored with 2 outs. And yet they were the worst team in that category coming in. Three and 1 now to Josh Naylor. Pulls him back. It's 3 and 2 now. I thought he had a walk. Naylor's the older brother of Bo Naylor, who's Cleveland's first-round pick in 2018. How cool would that be? The brothers played together like that. I've seen it before, but still pretty neat for them. Sharply hit and a nice play by Candelario at first. We'll head to the bottom of the 9th. The Tigers need a All right, Mick, thanks very much. It is Jamer Candelario, the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters against Cam Hill on a check swing. Slow roller back to Hill. And 1 pitch, 1 away here in the Tigers' 9th.
You don't see that too much from Candy on all the good hitters, those check swings that really drive hitting coaches crazy. But he got caught a little bit thinking that I can't swing at that high fastball, and then the bat actually hit the ball and makes for an easy out for Cam Hill.
Couple of strikeouts and a ground out for Nico Goodrum so far tonight. Michael Fulmer against Zach Plesac tomorrow. 6 o'clock is when Tigers Live kickstarts our coverage here on Fox Sports Detroit. Tigers with just 4 hits on the night. A single by Bonifacio, a single by Romine, a double by Paredes, and a 3-run homer by Willie Castro to break up the shutout. Now 2 and 2 to Goodrum. 2 outs.
Fastball up in the zone, didn't catch up to it.
It's 11 strikeouts for Cleveland pitching tonight. And here's Jorge Bonifacio.
Hill has done his job. He came in to replace Bieber. He's recorded 3 straight outs.
Oh, and 2 to Bonifacio. High and away. The 1-2, he checked it high. We talked about Ramirez seeing a lot of pitches. Number 1 in the American League in pitches per plate appearance. Well, Jorge Bonifacio is number 5 in that category. Got the count to 2-2 against Cam Hill. Laid off it. It's full. The payoff, and he struck him out to end the night. Cleveland snaps their 8-game losing streak with a definitive 10-3 final here in Game 1 of this 4-game weekend series. Now we send it to Mickey York at the Xfinity desk. Mick?